Hello friends, welcome back. I'm glad that I'm sharing with you once again today. Now, one of the things that I'm noticing is panel discussions are becoming quite popular in the corporate world today. So as an expert in your field, you're oftentimes going to be invited to speak about the work that you do. And I want you to be prepared the next time you're called upon, because I'm going to be sharing a few tips with you today. Discussions are quite different from the regular structured speech that you would have to give, like maybe at an event. It's because they're more conversational and you have to engage with an audience. And also the other thing is, since it's a live audience, you don't have a lot of time to kind of edit through what you want to say. You kind of have to think in the same time as when you're speaking and delivering to people. So I want to give you a few tips that you should consider the next time you have a panel discussion, so that you come off looking very professional and polished, but most especially to make sure that what you say is very clear and understandable to the people in the audience. Lastly, you need to do your research very well. Why were you invited to the panel discussion? What is the objective of the workshop? Because much as you have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge on a specific topic, there are different angles you might be requested to channel that information to. So make sure you understand, what is the objective here? Are they trying to find solutions to a problem? Are they just trying to get current findings on the topic, so I just have to inform them? The more you know about this, the better you're going to frame your responses very well. Also try to kind of ask some questions around who you're sitting on the panel with, because that gives you a picture of the scope of the entire conversation. So if you walk in there, you don't even know who you're going to be sitting next to, you'll be kind of blindsided when some topics come up, and then you're kind of looking angas, okay? And I don't want you to be looking disorganized. So make sure you know who is on the panel, make sure who is moderating the event. And when you try to get to know your panelists, get to know what they do, what are some of their recent achievements in their work, what kind of work have they done, and how does it relate to your work. All this gives you great context into what you can expect into the panel. Once you get to the actual panel itself, you have to bring your A game. Make sure you're clean, you're fresh, you're looking organized. First impressions matter. I know for some people they're not really a big thing. People judge you just by looking at you and how you're dressed up. So make sure you're looking good, make sure you're looking fresh. Get a haircut if you're a gentleman. Just have your hair nice and neat and organized. Look very professional, and make sure you have a very good outfit on. It already gets you a little respect from the audience even before you say anything. When it comes to answering the questions, once everything is set up, you're seated down, and the questions start coming at you, you need to be very precise with how you answer them. If you ask a question like, what did you have for breakfast? The easiest way to answer this is make sure you have a little bit of the question in the answer. For instance, for breakfast, I had an omelette and a cup of tea. But instead, if you start, so in the morning when I woke up, I decided to make some breakfast. I made some eggs and I also made some tea. You're not really answering that question, because the question was, what did you have for breakfast? Remember, panel discussions don't have a lot of time that they wait for one speaker to just kind of go and on and on. And the more you lose track from the questions, when your answers are not really adding up, the audience kind of gets bored and they lose track of what you say. So be simple, be precise, make sure you answer the question as precise as possible. So as I mentioned earlier, you have to take a conversational approach, because panel discussions will require you to not only just give one answer and then you keep quiet, but you're having a conversation with people. So think about the audience as a friend or someone that you're speaking to. The easiest thing, if you're kind of scared of thinking about the entire scope of the audience, you can build a persona of who you think is in the audience and speak to them like someone you know. Kind of calm your nerves and make your answers like less robotic, because then, when something is familiar, we tend to relax and be more centered. Then you can be able to speak with ease. Something that you should take note of as your fellow panelists are also talking, try to take note of what they're saying, so that you can be able to bridge to your own submissions. Imagine if someone says something similar to a submission you wanted to make later on, you can be able to say, probably as Miss Ruth mentioned earlier, I'd also like to say that on this topic, this is what we have done in this area and that type of thing. Now, if you're not paying attention to what your fellow panelists are saying, you won't even have opportunity to make, additions, because certain questions won't be asked to you directly, but you might find these are things that are important to you that you would want the audience to know about you and your work. So kind of listen to what the other panelists are saying and find opportunities for you to bridge. The panel is not going to be like any other conversations you will have, because you're going to have to exercise quick thinking, like in the moment. So someone asks you a question, you need to be able to answer very quickly. And sometimes the questions are not as easy to answer. Maybe you're not ready for that particular question, or maybe it's a very controversial question. So you need to have responses ready for such scenarios. Someone asks you something about data that you don't have. You need to have a way of thinking very quickly and say, thank you for letting us know about that. I would like to just maybe take some time. I will verify that information for you. And probably by the end of the workshop, we shall be able to give you the actual data about that specific subject. But if someone blindsides you with a question and then you start to, fidget, I'm not sure. I don't know if there is any other findings and whatnot. Be able to give them a definitive answer that shows them, you know what, I may not know right now, but I'm going to make sure that you have the right information later. Someone asks you, something controversial in the moment, make sure you can be able to answer to that without offending them, but also making sure you don't put yourself in a tight situation. And also, you don't have to die in the movie by yourself. You have like a whole panel of like other experts on there. If something is a bit complicated to you, you can invite your fellow panelists to take it up. Just do it politely so that you don't necessarily throwing it onto them. But you can just call them up and say, you know what, I would like to give an opportunity to my fellow panelists to just kind of also dig into the topic and share their insights as well. That way you take entire spotlight off yourself if you don't know. And who knows, there might be someone among your colleagues who may know what to say on the topic. Now, just like any other discussion or any other opportunity that you're given to speak, you need to find a chance for you to pitch in a few things. Think about the work that you do, think about programs that you want to market, think about like specific things that you'd want to say because they benefit you or your company, or they market a specific service that you offer or a product. Don't do it in a salesy way that you say, by the way, we sell this, we sell what, but kind of pitch it in there, show the impact of the work that you have done, kind of entice people to think into, okay, maybe I would like to work with them because they seem experienced in this area, or maybe they seem to have a product that is working well in the community, and I think they care about the people that they are working with. So through the words that you're saying, you can be able to pitch some things in there. And then also, like, read the room, who is in the room, who is in the audience. You might find you have a few people who you want to speak to directly. There could be someone in the audience, maybe they are a funder and you want to secure some funding, take that opportunity. There could be someone in the audience and maybe you want them to buy your product. Find ways to speak about it in a way that, you know what, they would also want to take it up. And that is going to give you a nice, icebreaker for when you want to network a little bit later. And who knows, you might be able to secure a collaboration, a partnership, or some funding. Now, the most important of them all, as I mentioned earlier, panel discussions are very live and they're in the moment. So you have to be prepared for the unexpected. Someone is going to fire you with a question that is going to agitate you and make you very angry. Are you going to sit there looking annoyed like you can't do that. You have to look poised and professional, and I know it can be painful sometimes, but you just have to learn how to play along with it, like in the moment. Remember, you're not responsible for other people's actions, but you're responsible for how you act and how you come off in front of the audience. So irregardless of how provocative the moderator or the audience might be with the questions, trust me, you're not allowed to get angry. Make sure you look professional. That's why I say quick thinking. Be quick on your feet to think about how you can be able to divert, away from that. So you're not remembered as that panelist who got annoyed the entire time because they fired him questions. And sometimes you might come a little bit underprepared for the occasion, or maybe the kind of questions you thought they were going to ask you and not what they're asking you for. Use the tactic I mentioned earlier of kind of involving your fellow panelists to speak on some of the topics that you find a little bit challenging for you. So as I wrap it up, make sure you have a softness about you, a soft gaze. Be very inviting so people feel like they can speak to you and ask you questions. If they ask you like more than 3 questions that you feel like are too much for you and you're already getting annoyed, you're going to close yourself up and you're going to miss out the opportunity to show the work that you do, by giving people the responses that they want in the moment. Now, I hope these 5 tips help you the next time you have a panel discussions. If you feel like if you've had a couple of panel discussions and you feel more experienced and you have a few tips for us, please make sure you leave them in the comment section below, because I would love for people to benefit from this as much as possible. Thank you for coming along with me until the very end of this video, and thank you for watching. Any other content you find on this channel, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and please make sure that you subscribe, because I would love to make more content for you. Thank you for watching. Until the next video.